Vladimir Putin sending troops into Syria. The Russian leader putting boots on the ground in the wake of the Obama administration's failed policy of training moderate Syrian rebels to take the fight to ISIS. Candidate Donald Trump says our policy is a mess.
We're fighting ISIS, and yet ISIS is fighting Assad. And Assad is probably saying, wow, isn't that nice that the Americans, that the United States comes in and they're taking care of our enemy? You know, we have people that don't know what they're doing. But militarily, we're fighting ISIS, and ISIS now is fighting us instead of fighting Assad. And Assad is, hey, George, we're the best thing that ever happened to Assad.
Well, if your head's spinning, you get to that last point, the point about we're the best thing that happened to Assad. That's his position. Katie McFarland, Fox News national security analyst, former deputy assistant secretary of defense, and good morning to you. Cut through it. What is Putin's game here to outflank the Obama administration in Syria?
Three things. One, he's got a crumbling economy, and it's not going to get any better until oil prices go up, which isn't going to happen anytime soon. He needs a win. He needs a win at home, because in time he's going to be in trouble. Number two, he's got an Islamic extremist problem on his border. So he needs to stand up and fight and get them in the Middle East, because otherwise they're coming to Russia to threaten. But most importantly, man, Bill, this is his opportunity to win the Super Bowl, have a Grand Slam all at once. Why? The United States is leaving the Middle East. Putin is moving in. It's a bet. It's a big bet that he can take on ISIS. But if he does, if he can defeat the Islamic State, who are his allies? Not only Iran and Iraq and Syria, but the Saudis, the Egyptians, the Israelis have to look at that and say, America couldn't do it. Putin could do it. Whose side are we going to be on? And then you've got Putin, who is going to be really in control of a region the Russians have tried to get in control of for 300 years. And what's in that region now? Oil. It's where all of the oil ships out, a lot of the exported oil ships out, Russian oil plus Middle East oil. Man, he's really run the table.
Well, it's a big bet if he does run the table, right?
Yeah,
and if
absolutely.
he does, you say he could change things geopolitically in a significant way.
Overnight.
Marco Rubio was asked about it, too, on ABC. Watch.
They see this lack of clear plan and strategy with regards to what to do with Assad in Syria, and the result is this vacuum has been created. Vladimir Putin is filling it. If I were president, we would fill that vacuum.
So Rubio, Trump, others are going to weigh in on this,
right,
and this is prime picking for this campaign right now.
Look, the whole point of the president leading from behind is going to be a strategy. Well, the chickens have come home to roost, to quote his favorite minister. What has happened is that nobody is watching, looking behind for their orders. Working from behind, leading from behind means being left behind.
Wow. I see a scenario where you have the United States fighting from the air in the same country.
Right.
And now you have Russian troops on the ground in the same country. This could potentially get very messy, KT.
Okay, have you ever heard the word deconflicting? I never even heard of that word. Okay, well, that's what the administration is saying. We're going to now work with the Russians because we want to deconflict this area. In other words, we don't want to get shot at by the Russians. We don't want to shoot at the Russians. It is such a mess in the Middle East. And what does it look like? It looks like Putin has taken the whiny kid on the playground and is pushing him around. And that's what the United States looks like. What's Obama's excuse for the muddle? He said, well, my critics made me do it. I didn't think it was really going to work. You know something? Stop whining and do your job.
Well, you remember Admiral Dempsey called the war a stalemate. And if that is the case and Assad cannot win, now Vladimir Putin has come to Assad's side to help make sure that he stays in power and ultimately wins this war. That's what's happening.
That's exactly what's happening.
Thanks, KT. We'll talk again,
Bill.
okay? Much more to come.
Thank
KT
you.
McFarland, thanks. Martha.